Have you ever wondered why you found this message? Right here, right now, out of billions of videos, out of infinite possibilities. Why did this transmission appear before your eyes? The answer is simple but profound: frequency. You didn't stumble across this content by accident. Your consciousness tuned into it. The way a radio tunes into a broadcast that was already in the air, waiting for the right receiver. And today, that receiver is you. You've probably heard of the observer effect, the idea that consciousness collapses probability waves into tangible reality. Many people try to apply it, believing that whatever they look at, whatever they visualize, will become real. But if you've ever felt frustrated, wondering why manifestation seems inconsistent, it's because something crucial has been missing. Observation alone is not the master key. The missing link is frequency. Observation creates collapse, but frequency decides which collapse happens. Think of it this way: your attention is the spotlight on a stage, but frequency is the invisible script that determines what actors step forward. Two people can observe the same moment with equal focus, but their realities diverge completely because their frequencies were different from the start. This is why you've felt déjà vu, synchronicities, strange glitches in your daily life. They're not accidents. They're signals from the quantum field that your frequency is shifting, that you're beginning to access a deeper layer of reality. Most people never touch. Stay with me, because in the next minutes, you'll discover why frequency is the true missing link in the observer effect, and how this revelation changes everything you thought you knew about reality. Imagine holding a flashlight in a dark room. Wherever the beam lands, that's what you see, and everything else fades into shadow. This is how your attention works. It's your quantum spotlight. It doesn't just notice reality, it collapses it. The beam doesn't passively reveal what's already there. It actively shapes what becomes real for you. The problem is, most people's spotlight is shaky. Stress, distraction, and inner noise make the beam flicker. One moment it's pointed at fear, the next at doubt, then back to old loops that replay like broken records. When the spotlight wavers, reality feels unstable, unpredictable, even hostile. But when you bring your spotlight into coherence, something astonishing happens. The beam sharpens. Instead of scattering across dozens of possibilities, it locks onto one clear frequency. And wherever that coherent light rests, the wave collapses instantly into form. Suddenly, conversations shift. Synchronicities line up, and opportunities you thought were impossible start appearing as if they were waiting in the dark all along. You've experienced glimpses of this the moment you were deeply focused, and the world seemed to arrange itself around your intention. That wasn't coincidence. That was coherence, the quantum spotlight at work. The key is not to force your attention harder, but to stabilize it, to breathe, center, and allow the spotlight to become steady. Because when your inner beam stops flickering, your outer reality stops flickering too. Your attention is not just awareness, it's creation. Where you shine it with coherence, reality obeys. Think of an old radio, the kind with a tuning dial. When it's off frequency, all you hear is static random noise, harsh, meaningless. But the moment you land on the right frequency, a clear signal cuts through. Music appears. Voice appears. Suddenly, order replaces chaos. Your perception works the same way. Stress, anxiety, and unresolved emotions flood your inner field with static. That noise doesn't just stay inside, it bends the spotlight of your attention, pulling it toward problems, worries, and the very loops you don't want to repeat. Static keeps you observing the old frequency. Signal, on the other hand, is coherence. It's the steady pulse of your heart, the rhythm of calm breath, the harmony of thought and body aligned. When you're on signal, the noise dissolves. You don't need to strain to find clarity. Clarity finds you. Opportunities, insights, and synchronicities broadcast themselves effortlessly. The fascinating part is that the universe is always broadcasting Infinite signals are out there right now, but whether you hear them or not depends entirely on the dial of your nervous system. If the dial is shaky, static dominates. If the dial is stable, signal dominates. This is why two people can stand in the same room. One only sees problems. The other sees openings. It's not luck. It's tuning. When you shift from static to signal, the world doesn't just look different. It is different. Because coherence doesn't just describe what you perceive. It alters what reality is willing to show you. Theory is nothing without practice. And the fastest way to experience coherence is through your own body. So here's a simple micro-practice you can do right now, no equipment. No preparation. Place your hand gently on your heart. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable. Inhale for a slow count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7. Then exhale fully through the mouth for a count of 8. That's one cycle. Repeat this 3 times. As you breathe, notice how your spotlight of attention begins to steady. The static fades. The body softens. The heart's rhythm becomes the metronome that your mind follows. Within 60 seconds, you've shifted your frequency. To anchor the shift, add a quiet declaration on the exhale. I choose coherence now. Say it softly or silently. The words aren't magic by themselves, they are an alignment key. They tell your field where to tune. And here's the part most people miss. After a minute of coherence, reality responds. A text arrives. A thought clears. A synchronicity clicks. It may seem small, but it's proof that your frequency shift is already reshaping what you observe. This practice is not about escaping the world. It's about retuning yourself so the world can show up differently. Every time you feel scattered, return to the breath hold release rhythm. Within 3 cycles, your spotlight stabilizes. Try it now, before moving forward. Because once you feel coherence in your own body, the rest of this journey will no longer be theory. It will be lived experience. Every reality you live is guided by a script most of the time, only you didn't write. It's invisible, woven from childhood conditioning, cultural patterns, and old emotional imprints. You wake up, you react, you make choices. But beneath it all, the script is running, like stage directions whispered from the shadows. This invisible script is what decides what your spotlight notices. If the script says, life is hard, opportunities are scarce, your attention will scan the environment and filter for proof of struggle. If the script says, I'm always overlooked, you'll miss the signals of recognition already around you. It's not that the opportunities don't exist, it's that the script edits them out before you even see them. That's why you can change jobs, move cities, even shift relationships, and still feel like the same loops keep replaying. The scenery changes, but the invisible script keeps running the same play. The good news is, scripts are not destiny. They are frequencies. And frequencies can be shifted. The moment you become aware of the words behind your behavior, you start to loosen their grip. Awareness is the first frequency shift. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what line of script am I still reciting without knowing? Notice the phrases you repeat, the thoughts that loop. Those aren't truths. They're just old programming. The invisible script can't be destroyed by force, but it can be replaced because the moment you embody a new frequency, a new script begins to write itself. And once that happens, your perception edits reality differently. What was invisible before suddenly becomes impossible to ignore. The most powerful way to rewrite the invisible script is not through thinking harder, but through embodiment. Identity is not just an idea, it's a frequency expressed through your body, your breath, your tone, your choices. When you hold on to the old identity, you keep broadcasting its frequency. You might visualize abundance, but if your shoulders slump, your breath is shallow, and your language carries doubt, the field still receives scarcity. The script continues unchanged, but here's the secret. Embodiment is immediate. You don't have to wait until your life proves the new story. You shift the posture, the clothing, the gestures, and your nervous system receives the signal right away. Stand taller, breathe deeper, speak with clarity, and the old script begins to dissolve. Think of it like slipping into a costume on stage. The moment you wear the clothes, you become the character, not because the fabric has magic, but because it tells your body how to move, and your body tells your mind what to believe. Embodiment bypasses the mental debate and rewires the script directly. This is why the smallest change in behavior creates a massive shift in observation. When you embody a confident frequency, your eyes notice opportunities that were invisible before. When you embody gratitude, you start catching signals of abundance everywhere. The world doesn't wait until you earn a new identity. It reflects back whatever frequency you embody in the present moment. So instead of asking, "How do I get there?" ask, "How do I embody it now?" Because reality responds to embodiment faster than intention. And the moment you change the frequency in your body, your field begins to edit the script you live in. Now let's make this real with a 2-minute ritual you can try today. I call it the wardrobe of timelines. Open your closet, or simply look at what you're wearing now. Ask yourself, if I were already living in my chosen reality, how would I dress? How would I stand? What energy would these clothes carry? Then, make a small shift. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Maybe you put on a jacket that makes you feel sharper. Maybe you switch into shoes that ground you, or even roll your shoulders back and lift your chin. The point isn't fashion, it's frequency. Each physical adjustment is a declaration to your nervous system. This is who I am now. The body doesn't argue. It receives the signal and begins to align perception with that embodied identity. Here's what you'll notice after the ritual. Your attention changes. You catch eye contact you would have missed. You hear opportunities in conversations that used to sound ordinary. Even the way you carry yourself alters how others respond. The invisible script loses power, and a new one takes the stage. This practice works because embodiment is contagious. When your body shifts, your energy shifts. And when your energy shifts, the field rearranges to reflect it back. So try the wardrobe of timelines today. Spend 2 minutes choosing one cue: clothing, posture, breath that belongs to the self you're stepping into. Then wear it, walk with it, breathe with it. Because the moment you embody the frequency of the new script, reality has no choice but to reveal the scenes that match. Time is not just a sequence of minutes and hours, it's a lens. The way you hold time determines what you can or cannot see. When you compress it with urgency, the lens narrows. Possibilities blur. Your spotlight falls only on problems, deadlines, and the immediate next step. That's why, in moments of pressure, you often miss the opportunity that was sitting right beside you. But when you expand time, the lens widens. Suddenly, there is space between events, and that space reveals options that were always there but hidden. It's like zooming out on a map. You don't just see the street you're stuck on. You see the entire network of roads leading out. Have you noticed how, in a dream, time bends? A single scene can stretch into hours. That's not illusion, it's a reminder that your perception of time is flexible. And when perception changes, observation changes. Stress tricks you into believing you don't have time. But the truth is, the way you hold time is the way time holds you. If you clutch it tightly, it shrinks. If you open it gently, it expands. So here's the shift: stop asking, "Do I have enough time?" Start asking, "How wide is my lens right now?" Because the moment you expand the lens, the hidden possibilities start to glow in the corners of your awareness. Time isn't against you. Time is with you if you let it breathe. Most people rush straight into action. A message arrives, and they reply instantly. A choice appears, and they leap before breathing. But in quantum reality, the most powerful moment isn't the action, it's the pause before the action. This pause is where timelines collapse. When you wait, even for a few seconds, you step into the gap where infinite outcomes still exist. You stop the autopilot script and give your field space to select a higher frequency. The pause isn't wasted time. It's the place where reality listens. I call it the 9-second window. Before sending that reply, before saying yes, before making the next move, pause. Count to 9 slowly. Feel your breath. Let the nervous system settle. And notice how, inside that window, clarity rises. Often, the answer you thought was obvious shifts. Another option appears. Sometimes the best move is revealed only in the stillness. Think of it like photography. If the camera moves while the shutter is open, the picture blurs. But if the camera steadies for just a heartbeat, the image becomes clear. The pause is you holding the shutter still so that reality can capture the highest frame. At first, 9 seconds may feel uncomfortable. Your mind will scream, "Hurry!" But the more you practice, the more you'll realize the pause doesn't delay your life. It upgrades it. Because in quantum terms, the pause isn't absence of action. It is the most decisive action you can take. Dreams are not random movies your brain plays at night. They are rehearsals, preview screenings of potential timelines. In dreams, the rules of linear time dissolve. A single moment can stretch for hours, or years of experience can pass in seconds. This is your consciousness practicing the art of temporal flexibility. When you wake up from a vivid dream, don't dismiss it. Ask, what was I rehearsing? What frequency was I embodying? Very often, dreams show you the emotional rehearsal of a reality you are about to step into, or warn you about the loop you're about to repeat. Here's the key: treat dreams as observation practice. Write them down the moment you wake. Then notice how those dream scenes echo in waking life. You may find the same conversations, faces, or challenges appear within days. That's because your subconscious already scanned them in the dream state. If you want to accelerate your shift, use lucid dreams as laboratories. Before sleeping, declare it tonight. I practice observing from my highest timeline. Even if you don't gain full control, your subconscious receives the instruction, and your dreams align accordingly. This is why ancient traditions called dreams the second life. Because in that space, you're already training your attention, shaping your spotlight, and collapsing possibilities before they arrive in the daylight world. So don't think of dreams as escape. Think of them as rehearsals. Every night, you are practicing how to see differently. And when you wake, the training continues your field already tuned to notice what your dream self rehearsed. Most people believe observation works like a camera. You point your attention at reality, and it simply records what's there. But the quantum truth is far stranger. You don't just observe through a lens, you select the lens itself before reality even appears. Imagine holding a pane of holographic glass. Depending on the angle, you tilt it. Completely different images come into focus. Nothing outside changed, the environment was the same, but the picture you see shifts entirely. This is how perception operates. The glass is your state of frequency. If your glass is clouded with fear, everything looks threatening. If it's tinted with scarcity, you only see lack. But tilt the glass into coherence, gratitude, or love, and suddenly the same environment reveals possibilities, beauty, and synchronicities you never noticed before. Here's the hidden key. You are not trapped by the scene, you are trapped by the glass you're looking through. And because the glass is holographic, it doesn't just filter reality, it actually generates the frame of reality itself. What you call observation is really the echo of the glass you've chosen. This is why two people can walk through the same day, in the same city, under the same sky, and live in completely different worlds. They weren't seeing the same reality at all. Their holographic glass selected different versions of it. Once you grasp this, the game changes. You stop trying to fight the scenery, and you start shifting the glass. And that is where the hidden power of quantum choice begins. Between every thought, there is a gap. Most people rush past it, unaware it even exists. But in quantum terms, this gap is the birthplace of reality. It's the split second where you are no longer entangled in the old script, but haven't yet collapsed, the new frame. It is the silent moment of pure possibility. Think of the gap like the still point between breaths. You inhale, you exhale, but for a brief pause, there is no movement at all. That pause isn't empty, it's full of potential. The same happens between thoughts. When your mind quiets, even for a blink, your field is free to select. And what you choose in that space sets the tone for what you observe next. This is why meditation has always been a key across traditions. It's not about silencing your mind forever. It's about noticing the gap, extending it, and eventually living from within it. Because in the gap, you're not reacting. You're not replaying. You're choosing. Here's the hidden mechanism. Observation doesn't start when you open your eyes or focus your attention. It starts in the gap, when your field selects the lens before reality appears. Miss the gap, and the old lens snaps back into place. Enter the gap, and you have access to higher frames of reality. So the practice is simple. When you feel overwhelmed, don't rush. Pause. Notice the silence between thoughts, between breaths, between reactions. That's the doorway. And once you find it, you realize you've had the power all along, hidden in the space most people overlook. We are taught that power comes from control of our minds, our emotions, our outcomes. But in the quantum field, the deepest power is not control. It is surrender. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means loosening the grip that keeps you locked into the same frequency. Imagine holding a rope so tightly that your hands ache, convinced that if you let go, you'll fall. But the truth is, the rope is tied to nothing. The moment you release, your hands are free, your energy is free, and the field can move you to a higher frame. Coherence without surrender is still rigid. You might breathe deeply, focus clearly, but if you're clenching for results, your signal vibrates with tension. Reality mirrors that tension back, showing you delay, resistance, and struggle. But when coherence is paired with surrender, the frequency shifts instantly. The spotlight steadies, the lens clears, and possibilities flow in without force. You don't have to push reality anymore, it begins to push you. Think of water flowing around a rock. The rock resists, but the water surrenders and flows, and yet it shapes the landscape more powerfully than the stone ever could. That is surrendered coherence, steady, yet flexible, clear, yet open. So here's the paradox. The less you grip, the more reality responds. The moment you relax into coherence, you enter the pre-choice gap naturally. You don't need to manufacture outcomes align themselves. This is the hidden shift most people never discover. Surrender is not weakness. It is the key that lets the field deliver a reality far greater than the one you were trying to force. Your nervous system is not just a biological machine, it's the tuner of your reality. Just like a radio dial decides whether you hear static or a clear broadcast, your level of regulation decides what part of reality you can observe. When your nervous system is dysregulated, when you're anxious, restless, or locked in fight or flight, your field contracts. Your body scans for threats. Your attention narrows, and you only notice the problems that match the state you're in. It's not that life suddenly became more hostile. It's that your tuner is set to a hostile frequency. Think of it this way. If your hands are shaking, you can't hold a camera steady. The picture blurs, no matter how beautiful the scene in front of you. In the same way, when your nervous system is shaky, your perception distorts. You miss the openings. You miss the synchronicities. You only see the blur, but when your nervous system is regulated, calm, steady, coherent, everything changes. The field opens. Your awareness expands, your spotlight of attention steadies, and suddenly you can perceive opportunities that were invisible before. Regulation doesn't just make you feel better. It literally unlocks new observations. This is why two people can stand in the same situation. One panics, the other sees solutions. The difference isn't intelligence or luck, it's nervous system tuning. And here's the hidden truth. You don't need perfect circumstances to regulate. You don't need silence, a retreat, or a perfect environment. Regulation can happen in seconds, through breath, posture, and simple practices that remind your body it is safe. Because when the tuner shifts, the song changes. The moment your nervous system steadies, reality begins broadcasting a clearer channel, and what once felt impossible begins to appear right in front of you, not because the world changed, but because your tuner finally let you hear the music. Regulation doesn't require hours of practice or complex routines. Your nervous system responds quickly to simple signals of safety. Here are 3 micro tools you can use anytime to shift from static into signal. Cold splash: run cold water over your hands or splash it on your face. The sudden temperature change tells your body, we are safe, we can reset. It jolts you out of mental loops and anchors you back in the present moment. Vagal hum. Place a hand lightly on your chest and hum a low sound, letting the vibration travel through your body. This stimulates the vagus nerve, which shifts your system from fight or flight into rest and digest. Within seconds, the field begins to open and your perception steadies. Soft eyes right now. Relax the muscles around your eyes and expand your gaze as if you're looking at the entire horizon. This widens your field of awareness and tells the nervous system it no longer needs to hunt for threats. The spotlight of attention broadens, allowing new possibilities to appear. The beauty of these tools is how quickly they work. You don't need privacy, silence, or special equipment. You can do them in the middle of a busy day, in your car, or even before answering a message. Each time you use one of these micro tools, you're sending a clear broadcast. I choose coherence. I choose clarity. And reality responds by showing you what matches that broadcast, because regulation is not about escaping life. It's about tuning yourself, so life can reveal more than fear ever allowed you to see. Every interaction you have is a mirror. The people around you, the conversations you fall into, even the random encounters in your day, they all reflect the frequency your nervous system is broadcasting. This is what I call the quantum mirror. When your system is dysregulated, the mirror shows agitation. Others seem impatient, dismissive, or hostile. It looks like the world is against you, but in truth, it's your own frequency bouncing back. The mirror doesn't lie. It simply reflects, but the moment you regulate, the reflection changes. People soften, doors open, synchronicities increase. The same coworker who ignored you yesterday suddenly offers help. The same environment that felt cold begins to feel supportive. Nothing external was rewritten. The mirror just showed you what your new state allowed you to observe. Here's the powerful part. You don't need to fix every person or every situation. You only need to tune your own frequency. The mirror does the rest. If you want a kinder reflection, radiate kindness. If you want more recognition, embody presence. The mirror cannot help but return what you project. This is why nervous system regulation is not just self-care, it's world-shaping. Each time you calm your system, you shift not only your own perception, but the way reality interacts with you. So next time you feel resistance in the world, ask, what is the mirror showing me about my current broadcast? The answer isn't out there, it's within. And the moment you adjust the tuner, the mirror reflects a different reality back. Not every shift requires hours of meditation or complex rituals. Sometimes the most powerful reset takes less than a minute. The 3-breath collapse is one of the simplest and fastest ways to end an old frequency and open the door to a new one. Here's how it works. First breath. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling the lungs completely. As you breathe in, imagine pulling up the old loop, the fear, the doubt, the repeating script, gathering it into awareness. Hold for a moment at the top, acknowledging, yes, this is what I've been carrying. Second breath. Exhale slowly through the mouth, releasing the weight of that loop. Visualize the energy leaving like smoke, dissolving into the air. Place a hand on your chest and whisper or think, this no longer defines me. Third breath, inhale again, but this time with intention. Draw in coherence, clarity, and alignment. As you exhale, declare I am coherent with my highest timeline. Feel the body soften as the new frequency locks in. That's it. 3 breaths. Less than 60 seconds. Yet the shift is real because the nervous system responds immediately. The body knows when a cycle has ended and it begins to stabilize around the new signal. The power of this practice lies in its accessibility. You can do it anywhere before a meeting, in the car, even in the middle of an argument. No one else has to know. But you'll know. You'll feel the loop collapse, and you'll notice how quickly your observation changes, because reality doesn't need hours to update. It needs only a signal strong enough to redirect your spotlight. And 3 conscious breaths are more than enough to begin rewriting the script of what you see. Sometimes the body needs a physical gesture to mark the end of an old loop. That's where the paper sigil comes in, a simple ritual that signals to your nervous system and your field. This frequency ends now. Here's how to do it. Take a small piece of paper. Write a single sentence that names the loop you're ready to collapse. It could be as direct as "this loop ends now." Or you might write something more personal, like "I release the pattern of self-doubt," or "I am done with scarcity." Once it's written, hold the paper in your hands. Feel the weight of the words. Acknowledge that this script has been running in your life, but also recognize that you are the one holding it. You are not inside the script. The script is inside your hands. Now, tear the paper slowly. Hear the sound of the fibers breaking. With each rip, exhale, letting the body feel the collapse of the old pattern. If you want, you can burn the paper safely or throw it away as a final gesture. The power isn't in the paper, it's in the act. Your subconscious registers the physical destruction of the old script as proof that the frequency has ended, and because the field mirrors what you embody, reality begins reflecting the new signal immediately. Try this the next time you feel trapped in repetition. A single piece of paper, a single sentence, and one decisive gesture can free your spotlight and make space for a new observation to emerge. A shift doesn't last unless it's anchored. Your nervous system and your field need small, repeated reminders that the new frequency is not just a moment, it's your new baseline. That's where anchors come in. An anchor can be anything physical or symbolic that ties you back to your chosen frequency. It could be a word on your phone's lock screen, a symbol on your keychain, or a short declaration you keep in your pocket. Every time you see it, touch it, or say it, you're reminding your system, this is the frequency I live in now. Here are 3 powerful anchors you can try. Pocket declaration. Write a phrase like, "I am coherent with my highest timeline" on a small card. Carry it with you. When old loops tug at you, touch the card and repeat the phrase. Environmental cue, change your phone wallpaper, computer background, or even a sticky note on your mirror to display a symbol of your chosen state: light, freedom, abundance, coherence. Body anchor pick, a simple gesture, like touching your heart, or taking a single deep breath, and assign it meaning. Each time you perform it, it tells your body we are aligned. Now, anchors work because they bridge intention and embodiment. They keep the nervous system tuned and prevent the old script from sneaking back unnoticed. Over time, the anchor becomes automatic. Your body feels the frequency before the mind even thinks about it. Because transformation isn't just a single shift, it's the steady rhythm of anchors that makes the new reality stick. Your shift is never just yours. Every time you stabilize a higher frequency, you send a signal into the collective field. This signal ripples outward, like a tuning fork vibrating in a room. Other forks begin to resonate. Other nervous systems start to feel the echo. This is the principle of morphic resonance, the way one shift amplifies across the whole. Think of it like dropping a stone into still water. The ripples don't stop at the edge of the stone, they travel across the entire surface of the pond. In the same way, when you move from fear into coherence, the wave travels. It doesn't matter if you speak about it or not. The field feels it, others feel it. This is why even small, personal practices matter. When you regulate your nervous system, breathe with intention, or collapse an old loop, you're not just helping yourself, you're feeding stability into the collective grid. The more nodes of coherence we create, the stronger the field becomes. You may have noticed this already. When you walk into a room where someone is grounded and calm, you relax without knowing why. That's morphic echo in action. Your system entrains to theirs. And when you stabilize your own coherence, you become that grounding presence for others. This isn't about pressure, it's about possibility. You don't need to save the world. You only need to tend to your own frequency, and the echo does the rest. Your calm can shift an argument. Your coherence can spark creativity in a group. Your love can ripple across people you've never met, because awakening isn't a solo journey. It's a network effect. Each personal shift multiplies through resonance until what once seemed impossible collective transformation becomes inevitable. Quantum physics shows us that particles once connected remain entangled, no matter how far apart they move. Change one, and the other shifts instantly. The same principle applies to human consciousness. Once you've connected with someone through family, friendship, or shared intention, you are entangled. Your frequency affects theirs, and theirs affects yours. This is why support often arrives in mysterious ways. You think of a friend, and they text you. You feel low, and suddenly someone offers encouragement out of nowhere. These aren't coincidences. They're the natural signals of entanglement. When you shift, the people entangled with you feel it. Some may resist, clinging to the old frequency, but others rise with you. That's why your journey is never solitary. Even if no one around you understands, the field is weaving connections behind the scenes. The most empowering part is that you can consciously use entanglement as support. Before meditation, whisper "May this coherence ripple to everyone I'm entangled with." You'll be surprised how often someone later says, "I don't know why, but I feel calmer today." Your shift transmitted, and when you feel drained or stuck, you can lean on the field and return. Simply set the intention, "I open to the coherence of those I'm entangled with." The web answers. Because entanglement is not one way, it's mutual resonance. So instead of seeing your path as isolated, remember you are woven into a living web of frequency. Each breath you take in coherence strengthens not only your reality, but the realities of those connected to you. Imagine humanity as travelers, walking toward a horizon. Each individual shift, each moment of coherence, is like a lantern lit along the path. At first, the road seems dark and uncertain. But as more lanterns ignite, the collective horizon grows brighter, and suddenly the way forward is undeniable. This is where we are now. Every personal breakthrough feeds the collective grid. Every time you end a loop, you're not only freeing yourself, you're clearing space for the collective to step into a new reality. Awakening is not just personal evolution, it's a shared acceleration. We can already feel it. Synchronicities are increasing on a global scale. Conversations once limited to a few seekers are now happening in mainstream spaces. Old systems that no longer serve are cracking, not because of chaos, but because the field is reorganizing for something higher. The key is to recognize that you are part of this horizon. When you regulate your nervous system, when you embody coherence, when you surrender into trust, you're contributing to a reality that millions will walk into. You are both the traveler and the lantern. The collective horizon isn't a distant future. It's being built in every moment of choice, every breath of coherence, every act of love. And while one shift may feel small, together, they weave the inevitable transformation. So lift your eyes. The horizon is glowing brighter each day. What once felt hidden is becoming visible. What once seemed impossible is beginning to emerge. And you are here not by accident, but because your frequency is part of the dawn itself. You've now seen it 3 frequency shifts that can immediately change what you observe. From collapsing the static into signal, to rewriting the invisible script, to bending time itself, you've learned that reality is never fixed. It responds to your frequency, always. The truth is, you were never trapped by circumstance. You were only tuned to a narrow channel. And now, you hold the dial. Every breath of coherence, every act of surrender, every choice to embody the new script, it all resets what the field reveals. This is not theory anymore. You've practiced the micro-rituals. You've felt how 3 breaths, 1 gesture, or a small anchor can shift the entire spotlight of your awareness. If that can happen in seconds, imagine what happens when you live this way daily. So here is your declaration: I am the tuner of my reality. I collapse the old. I embody the new. I walk in coherence with my highest timeline. Type it. Speak it. Write it on paper. Let it echo through your field. Because declarations are not just words. They are frequencies collapsing into form. And as you make this declaration, remember your shift is not just yours. It ripples through the morphic field. It lights lanterns along the collective horizon. The coherence you embody becomes the coherence we share. So breathe deeply, stand tall, and step forward with clarity. The field is already rearranging to match your new broadcast. Your shift is irreversible. And your new reality begins now.